I was gonna let that timer count down all the way, but what's the point? I don't know. There's not much of a point. I don't know. I wasn't gonna show up today. Terrible. I don't know what to say, man. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till Plus Money gets on because I kind of want to go over this a little bit with him, but we'll go over the banners and stuff. Welcome our sponsor, Caesar Sportsbook. Free bet insurance up to $1,250 for first-time users. Download the app today. Check your state's age limit and please bet responsibly. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell every day so you'll be able to watch all the shows on Max Wagers Network. I got the match days going, scrolling across the bottom here. One match day 2. I'm trying. I got to figure this out. There's a possibility I can go to Benfica PSG on October 5th. If I go to that, I'll go to Manchester City, Manchester United, October 2nd, and Porto, Leverkusen on October 4th as well. So it might be a decent little trip there. We'll see. Yeah. Wait till Plus Money comes on. Go to these scores here yesterday. Liverpool stole the game there at the end. They're not very good. They didn't cover the -1. So basically right now, I was just going down with our viewers how yesterday was an absolute disaster.
Terrible day. Oh my God.
Some of the scores really stunned me. Bayer Leverkusen 2-0.
Club Brugge 4-0.
Yeah, I'm at that more than any other game. That game absolutely stunned me. The crazy thing now is, and Bruce scored 2 goals right after halftime. Bruce is in pole position to get through now. I mean,
they're making it. That was the game right there. Like they put themselves in such a good position.
Barcelona, I mean, just couldn't find the net. They had so many chances. Tottenham looked terrible. Marseille looked terrible. Really could have been down 2-0 there. They took the goal away. But basically, what I want to say today is, here we go. PSG went to 0, Real Madrid -1, and Mbappe goal score for Bill. Yeah, I think so. I like. We'll get through the list of stuff, but I do like PSG today. Obviously, Real Madrid and some of the other ones. I know enough. Last week I was on fire, and I do these heat check bets sometimes where I'm like, man, I'm hitting everything. I'm putting this like single game parlay in for some football thing, and like on. I forget what day it was. Oh, Thursday night. I got the Cooper Cup touchdown. That was the only, and I didn't have it. And then all of a sudden they scored the touchdown from Stephon Diggs, and I hit that for like $400 on like a $50 parlay. And like everything I throw up's going in. Heat check. I know when I am bad though. I know enough. Like I'm like, man, I'm not feeling it. I just back away. I'm not sure how, if you do that or whatever. Like I'll take a week. I don't even care. I won't bet for a week just to like get through that thing. Like yesterday was kind of just a bad day. Like I'm gonna bet today, but yesterday was a bloodbath basically.
Yeah, it was definitely a bad day with some of these scores. I managed to get out of it still 2-3. I had the Tottenham under And what was my other one? I had under 3.5 in the Liverpool Ajax. So
that's good.
I'm surprised Ajax even scored in that one. They really showed up in that match. But yeah, man, I was on the under in the Club Bruges game. They got abs. I didn't think Club Bruges was gonna even score, and they just came out, blew the doors off.
That's one of the most. I mean, I watched a lot of games. I mean, that I was watching that happen, and I'm just like, this is just like I was just stunned. I'm like, I can't believe Porto just didn't show up in this thing. I mean, they just didn't show up. And you know, when you look at this group now, you know, Bruges is on 6 points, the only team on 6 points, and they play Atletico Madrid twice here. So, you know, I don't even think Atletico Madrid just lost to Bayern Munich or Bayern Leverkusen, who's not any good. I don't even think Bruges needs to get I think if they get a point from one of those, and then they go into those last 2 games with 7 points playing, you know, Porto and Leverkusen, I think they could probably get through on 10 points if they win one of those. I mean, if they win one of the 2 against Atletico Madrid, Bruges is through. I mean, that's it. And then now Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid, and Porto are fighting for one other spot. And that, I mean, those are some big name teams. One of them's, you know, not going on.
The other thing about that is Club Bruges is the only team in the group that hasn't allowed a goal yet in the 2 games.
That's right. Yeah, look, I mean, if you don't give up goals, you don't lose games.
And, you know, our lovely Simeone over there with the terror ball has even allowed some goals. So, you know, you're not going to get – they've allowed 3 goals in 2 matches. You're not going to get out of this group if you got a team like Club Bruges that's just not giving anything up.
Yeah, Foxy made the point about how Club Bruges is good because last year's group was City, Leipzig, and PSG. Look, I do think they're good. It's just it's more about, you know, their start to the season. They haven't been good in the Jupiler League in Belgium. They've been a little bit. I mean, they're winning games, but they haven't looked great, and they've given up some goals. You know, they come into this group and they don't give up goals. So yeah, look, I mean, Bruges is probably. Now, Porto probably has to win 3 out of 4 to even have a shot to get out of this group. And Porto, you know, Porto plays Bayer Leverkusen next. I was telling, there's a possibility I'm going to Benfica PSG on October 5th in Lisbon, which means I would go to the Porto Leverkusen game the day before in Porto and probably the City United game.
Plan that one out well.
Yeah, it's kind of just dumb luck, but yeah, so we'll see. But there's a possibility if we go to the Benfica game, PSG, I'll go to the other ones because I'll be over there. It's a little bit of a crazy period at work, so I might not be able to go, but there's a possibility, so that would be pretty good. So, but yeah, look, I mean, these teams, you got the Champions League. Where?
Oh, well, I don't know what happened to Sean. I guess must have had some technical difficulties. I'll just keep it going until he gets back.
I don't even know.
There we go. All right.
I went to click on the banners, and all of a sudden, I was back on the last page. I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" Put the Champions League odds here at the bottom. Here. And it's to me, I mean, first of all, Bayern Munich, Barcelona is now ahead of Real Madrid. They're down to plus 900, which is interesting because, I mean, they had chances yesterday, but I mean, Bayern Munich beat them. So, you know, and Real Madrid, I don't know. Real Madrid just never loses games, but you know, once again, you got Real Madrid already up at plus 1,100. I'm taking. I might be throwing a little money on that. You know, City's plus 250, PSG plus 550, Munich plus 700, Liverpool 800. And I don't understand why Liverpool's 800. I just don't think they can win this tournament. I don't think they're that good, but it is what it is.
Yeah, definitely don't know what that's about. I mean, I'm disappointed in the way Barcelona played yesterday, but I still think they're the better team over Bayern Munich. Like,
well, it sounded like they had, I was trying to stream my game. It didn't really work because there's no Wi-Fi where I was, and their service was terrible. But it sounded like they had some opportunities to score. They just couldn't.
oh
put
yeah,
it on the net.
they outshot Bayern in that game. They even had the possession in that one. I thought they were the better team. They just, missed their chances, and Bayern didn't. That was
Abdi
the
did
difference in the game.
say, Abdi did say they weren't. Lewandowski might not play well in that game, so he was right about that. But Abdi's been right about a lot of stuff lately. So if you're looking for stuff, just maybe see what Abdi posts in the comments and maybe go with that right now. But we got some stuff today. I do like the games today. I like a few of them. It's not, once again on Monday we talked about how the card isn't great, but for bettors. But I do like some of them today. So the first game is your team.
Yeah, you taking my AC Milan?
I'm probably not taking the first two games, to be honest. I mean, I think Celtic offers you some pretty decent value at plus 128 in this game. I just don't know. I forget what they did the first week. They lost 3-0 to Real Madrid. And just the Shakhtar result, I think, was just shocking to me. I just don't know. These two early games to me are just not easy to bet on. I do like AC Milan, but are you taking them at minus 345 here? I know you're not, but
No.
that's more like a rhetorical question.
I can't trust them at 2 goals. They never clear the spread. They always just
minus
win the game.
1.5 is minus 108. I mean, it's just a lot of goals. It's not. I don't have a problem laying. It's the same with Chelsea and Red Bull Salzburg. Like I'm not backing them. Like I wouldn't have a problem backing PSG at minus 1.5 goals, which they're going to be minus 2. But I wouldn't have a problem backing PSG at minus 1.75 because I think they'll cover and they're a better team than Haifa. But AC Milan, I just don't know. PSG win to know, by the way, Bill, is plus 118. So if you haven't bet that, but these two early games, of the two, maybe I'd take a shot. I don't know. Even over 2.5 goals by AC Milan seems like a lot. I mean, it seems like this game could be like 2-0, maybe. I just don't know. Maybe I'd take a shot with Celtic, but I don't even think that game is. Shakhtar looked very good last week. Shakhtar could win this game easily, and they're plus 200. So I'm not sure how you feel about that game.
I have made it a point to not touch the Ukrainian teams this year. I don't feel comfortable. They had their season. I think it started like last week or something finally. But yeah, they had their season delayed because of the war. And I'm not even sure if they're still playing home games at home right now or still doing them in Poland. So it's really hard to get a feel for those teams. I just not comfortable betting on them.
Yeah, I agree. I'll probably just sit out the early game.
Like, is that one actually being played in Ukraine? I doubt it. It's probably still in Poland, right? But then again, I'm hearing that like the war is almost over now because a bunch of Russian soldiers just retreated. So I have
Polish army venue.
Polish. Okay, so
Proctor hasn't played at home in 10 years anyway. I mean, they're since 2014 because they got pushed because they're so far east. They got pushed in the first invasion. So Shakhtar hasn't even played in Donetsk since 2014, I think. So I mean, they're used to it. It's just, I mean, it's amazing what this team continues to do year in and year out without really, a home. They haven't played at home in such a long time. Foxy says his only play with Shakhtar and Celtic is both teams to score, which is minus 180. If you're going to bet that, I probably have to put that in some kind of parlay. I think I would. The late games, Sevilla, Copenhagen. Yeah, no.
If you want a rip your hair out parlay today, like something you just want to like be in a puddle of sweat by the end of it, you should parlay AC Milan and Chelsea together. I think that's got to be the rip your hair out sweat puddles parlay of the day.
I wouldn't be stunned if both teams won easy.
They have to win.
I wouldn't be stunned if both teams I just don't think Chelsea's that good. I think it's like the Premier League has been so good for 4 or 5 years now. And I just I don't know. I don't know if either of those teams are any good. Liverpool, I'm not going to go so far as to call it like the Bundesliga, but Liverpool is down, Chelsea's down. Some of the other teams are getting stronger, but Sevilla,
like the Arsenals and the Brightons. But Brighton just lost their manager, I think, right? Didn't he go?
He went to Chelsea.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how Brighton takes a turn.
You got a new manager in charge today. Now you got to lay a goal and a half to eat that minus 115.
And he was managing a team that wasn't even in European competition. Now you're thrown into Champions League in your first appearance as manager.
He's done a very good job with Brighton. He's won one trophy ever in all the teams.
Good.
Look, there's no expectations on Brighton. Now you're in a team. Your first game here is the Champions League game that you have to win. Like Chelsea has to win this game. There's no way around it. If they're like Porto yesterday. You saw how that ended up. But you look at the table here. Zagreb is on 3 points. AC Milan and Salzburg's on 1 point. If Chelsea doesn't get a point here, or Chelsea isn't going to win here, and Milan wins, or Zagreb wins, it's interesting. I just don't know. Chelsea should win this. Shakhtar's lost 15 Brazilians. They've done unbelievably well. I can't say enough about the job Shakhtar's done over the years. Juventus, Benfica. I mean, my first thought is Benfica a draw, but it's minus 160. So it's not even worth it. So my next thought would be to just bet Benfica in this game, but they don't. I don't know. Juventus has been all over the place. I don't really love this game. The odds it's tough. That's a tough game to bet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this Juventus team. I don't think they're going to do well.
Yeah, I
don't see them scoring. That's the issue.
Exactly. And I think Benfica might,
Benfica hasn't allowed a goal in all of their away matches this year, I think.
Yes. And, Benfica has a chance here. If Benfica wins and PSG obviously wins, they're both on 6 points. And then Benfica plays PSG. Probably think they don't get anything from those 2 matches, but at least they're on 6 points. And then, Juventus plays Haifa, so maybe Juventus gets something from that. And then Benfica comes down to the Juventus and Haifa games and the other two legs, match day 5 and 6. So It's a huge match for Benfica. I would probably take a small chance on Benfica here, but I don't love the game. I do like the last 4 games of the day. They're all at 3:00, but the last 4 games on the slate here, which are Maccabi Haifa, PSG, City Dortmund, Rangers, Napoli, and Real Madrid, Leipzig. I like all 4 of these games in some way. PSG, obviously, and Haifa, you're going to have to find a way to bet this. I don't, once again, I don't, -2 is -107. You don't even get even money for -2. Over 2.5 goals, -141. It's not even really good value. PSG win to 0, like Bill was saying, is +118. Excuse me. I do think that might be decent. Goal score, you're probably going to get Mbappe at like -200. How about that? -200 on the nose. You maybe Neymar at -132. I don't know. Do you like this game at all?
No, I like to stay away from ones like these where it's like -500 because it's hard to find value. Like, can't take a total. The total is like what, 3.5, almost 4, probably
3.5. Yeah, I think your best bet is to bet PSG to win to 0 and hope they don't give up a goal. But
or maybe PSG first half if that's a possibility. What do we got? What's the half line there? -175 is what I see. So even then, you'd have to take them like -1 and hope they take a quick 2-0 lead.
Yeah, you could get you get them at -0.075 at -134. That's not terrible. But once again, if they only take if they win the half by 1, you're only winning half your bet. So not the worst bet ever.
That's why I'd rather take the -1 at the plus money and just take the push if it's a 1 goal lead by half or whatever. But yeah, that would probably be the way I would go about it. But even then, I don't know if they're going to score very, very quick like that. Like it seems in their last few games, PSG has been scoring much later. Like their win over the weekend was 1-0 against Stade Brestois, and that's not a good team, Stade Brest there. So
their Champions League game last week, Mbappe scored 2 goals in the first 20 minutes, and then they had to hang on. They were hanging on like I was like hanging on for all my parlays. I'm like, what is going on here? Why don't you guys score 3 more? And they hit the post like 3 times. That game was driving me nuts.
They had so many late chances too. I was sitting there like, give me the 3rd goal. Come on. I needed the 1.5.
It was, it was crazy, that game. City -560, Dortmund. Once again, goal scorer probably here. Rick Fortenbaugh calling up. He's -265. I mean, it's not bettable. If Alvarez starts at -115, he's probably a good play because he scores goals. I do like that one. It's going to be -2 is going to be -125. Dortmund was so bad over the weekend.
They showed up for Copenhagen.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to score for to score for Dortmund. Adeyemi is +460, and he's the lowest, and Modeste is +460. I just don't know. They should just play this Maloku kid. I mean, the team is like, you look and it's like there's talented players, Thorgan Hazard and Jude Bellingham, but I'm not scared of this guy. It would be the same thing. I would probably take a chance on City, maybe first half, -1 at +105, but My probably best play of that game is if Julian Alvarez. Yeah, Foxy, they play like kids at home sometimes. Yeah, they are. They're very young, but they're naive. They don't play. They're not any good. It's all these vibes players, man. It's just they don't. There's no point of attack. I mean, they had Sebastian Haller, who would have been good for them, but he's sick. So, and City has these, Holland, who's going back to Dortmund, or who's going to play Dortmund, like Lewandowski did yesterday, and it didn't work out. But City's playing at home, so that could be interesting. The Napoli Rangers game, I like Napoli. You just keep talking about how bad Rangers are, and I just keep saying, you know what, this Napoli team is very interesting, and once again, Napoli here, if they win, they go to the top of the table with the 2 games against Ajax and match day 3 and 4 back to back. So, Napoli could basically be through. If Napoli wins this game, they could be through after match day 4, I think, because Rangers are going to get beat twice by Liverpool. There's no way. Liverpool will be on 9 points after match day 4. And if Napoli wins today, they basically just have to, if they get 4 points from 6 or a win, even just a win, to be honest, they would be on 9 points. Ajax would only be on 6. And Ajax still has to play Liverpool and Rangers, obviously. So Napoli's probably in good shape. I just don't see Rangers winning this game. And, you're getting Napoli at basically close to even money. It's too good for me to pass up. That's probably my favorite bet of the day.
Yeah, well, you got to look at the way, the Rangers, there's a big divide in Scotland. These 2 teams may be close in the standings, Celtic and Rangers, but even if at the end of the season, maybe they're separated by a few points, but the divide is there. And look at how they're both in Champions League group stage, but look at how each got there. Celtic got there winning the league. Rangers had to play through qualifying matches, beating up on bad teams, which obviously they were better than, and ended up getting there. But I think, the result against Celtic, losing that badly 4-0, really shows where their skill level is at. They still may be a great team in the league and crush every other person playing in Scotland. But when it comes to Celtic, they're nowhere even close. And we saw how Celtic matched up against a team like Real Madrid at home. So I think the Rangers are a significantly weaker team. And you're right. They might even go 0-6 in this group, because I don't know who they would get the points from. Maybe Liverpool has another slip up on the road. Maybe Ajax has a slip up on the road that comes over the draw there. But yeah, the Rangers are looking at a bad group here.
Yeah, I mean, Foxy's making the point about the atmosphere. Obviously, he's going to be charged today because of the Queen, and they're honoring the Queen. And Rangers is a nationalist team, and they want to be part of the union and all that stuff. So maybe that'll have them up for this game. I just don't, if they weren't up for a Celtic game, I don't know how they're getting up for this game. So it's more of a value play for me for Napoli. I just think, you're getting them at that price. I think it's probably worth taking them here. And then, the last game is Real Madrid, Leipzig. Leipzig, they're all over the place. Real Madrid is not. I mean, they lose the Ballon d'Or winner to injury for a month, and it just doesn't matter. -1 is -1 here. Minus 0.75, -132. -1 is +102. I'm going to look at Vinicius Jr. to score because he scores every single game now. He's basically, +128, +130. Seen him for different price there. I like Real Madrid in this game a lot. What are your thoughts on that one?
I definitely like that Vinicius to score a goal. Probably is going to. I don't know about this Leipzig team. Like,
I
I'm
just
not
have no idea.
I'm not sure if they get up for this. I mean, they didn't get up for Shakhtar at home and they got destroyed. Now that they're on the road against a better team, do they get up for this one? I have no idea with what they're going to do, but they definitely haven't looked good this year. They've been struggling to score goals and they've been giving up a lot, I think is the key there.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think they're in trouble today. Real Madrid playing at home. So that's the Champions League. So we're not here tomorrow. So we're gonna go through some of these, not all of them, some of the other games. The Europa League. I do like, in the early game, Midtjylland and Lazio. Lazio is -113. I like Lazio in that game. The other early games here, I don't know, man. Manchester United should win against Sheriff, but I just not at 480. I'm probably going to stay away.
You're not taking your team?
I mean, I think they win the game pretty easily, to be honest. But I'm not. Is it mine? Are you taking -2 with them? I just don't know. Like -1.75 is -129. That's not terrible. I'd like to see the lineup. I'm sure they're going to play full strength because they're not playing on the weekend. So, and then they're off until October 1st. So they're probably going to play full strength. But I like of these early games. I like Lazio, I think, and Feyenoord. I don't mind Feyenoord, but I just don't know though. Like -1.5 at +100 against Sturm Graz. I don't know if I'm laying -1.5 in that game. And any thoughts on those early games?
Well, Sturm Graz is definitely a good team, so I'd probably lay off that Feyenoord play just because Feyenoord got embarrassed in Lazio. They were down. They lost 4-2, but they're down 3-0 at halftime, and the game wasn't even close. So they should win this one at home. But like I said, Sturm Graz is a good team. It's not like they're good. They're probably one of the better ones in Austria. Them, Salzburg, and Lask. So they're probably going to come to play here. They're not playing great in their league, but they get up for these ones.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'd be like, I do like Lazio here, but just because it's close to even money, I think they're a better team. And I haven't been super impressed with the way Michelin's been playing, especially in the playoffs. Really kind of let us down a couple times in those plays, and then the late games here.
Actually, for one of those early games, I was thinking about Karabag over Nantes, but I don't think Nantes is a good team on the road. They don't play well there. They don't score a lot of goals on the road, and they're gonna have to travel pretty far to get to Azerbaijan for this game. Like it's like basically Asia they're traveling to. So I could see them slipping up. Karabag plays very well at home. They got a good defense there. They score a ton of goals when they're at home, too. I've seen them score like 4 or 5 goals a game. So this could be one where they sneak away with a win over Nantes because, honestly, I just don't think Nantes is that great of a team, and I don't think they're going to place very high in the French league this year.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting play, actually. And then when you look at some of these later games, Bodo against Zurich. I thought Zurich played well against Arsenal last time, so I don't really love that game.
Arsenal had like 80% possession in the first half, and all they could score was the one goal. Like that was, I get they were on the road, but they should have won that game like 4-0.
Yeah, and. I think Bodo needs this game. I mean, they both need.
They're good at home. Bodo Glimt, they're very good team. They're another one like Karabag, where they score like 4 or 5 goals a game when they're at home.
Betis against Ludogorets. I don't know about minus 275. They won 1-0. I watched that game on the weekend. Roma's at home. They haven't been playing well. But minus 770. I'm not touching that. Braga and Union Berlin is probably the game of the day at 3:00 there. I think that's going to be a very good game. Both those teams are very good. You're getting value either way. I think one of the plays was, over 2.5 goals, minus 106. Both teams score, or both teams to score is minus 136. Those could be interesting plays there. That's a good game. I'm not sure which way I'd go with it right now. I was thinking about Braga, but Union Berlin is very good as well.
I would agree with you just because Braga's at home, and if you look so Union Berlin, I think they lost their last Europa game to it was on the tip of my tongue now. They lost their last Europa game. Who was it they played? USG, Saint Gilloise or whatever from Belgium. I think they lost 1-0. Were they on the road in that one?
You can see the group. Where is it? Yeah.
There it was. I think it was just there.
Yeah, Union Berlin lost at home to USG, and that it's.
I don't think USG is as good a team as they were last year. I don't.
Yeah, they lost their
place very high.
That is a very good team, and they don't give up any goals.
And I watched Union Berlin's game on the weekend against Köln. If Köln doesn't get the red card in the last 20 minutes, they were putting so much pressure on Union. There's no way they would have came out with that win. So, this Union team, they lost already in the last round at home. They were vulnerable on the road against Köln over the weekend, and now they're traveling to Portugal for this game against a Braga team that's very in form. I go with
Braga basically at the same price. You got Braga last week at plus 125 on the road. You got them basically at plus 125 again here at home. I'm probably going to take Braga here and just ride this team and see what they can do.
Yeah, they look like they have a good team this year in Portugal.
Yes.
I think they'll probably place higher than Sporting.
I think that's probably – I think you're probably right. I mean, they definitely have a pretty good team this year. They just don't give up goals. That's the thing. I mean, they're just so tough to play.
Well, they've always been a good defensive team, but I think the big thing for them this year is they're scoring goals for once.
Yes, they finally got somebody in to put the ball in the net. There are a lot of games in this conference league. I mean – once again, I know it's probably a little bit too early to look at these games. I mean, the only game I would basically look at is maybe the West Ham is minus 182 here on the road at Silkeborg. After let me see what group they're in. Right here, Group B. West Ham won 3-1 over FCSB, not FSB, not the FSB, the FCSB. So Silkeborg Silkeborg lost 1-0 to Anderlecht on the road. So West Ham here, over 1.5 goals, minus 175. Not even worth betting that. West Ham halftime, full time is plus 130. Not a terrible bet. West Ham -1, about minus 105. That's not a bad bet either. I would probably stay away from most of those games, to be honest with you. There's enough games to look at in the Europa League. I think you find one game maybe.
There's 30 games here, and it's just so much to look at. I guess the one I was looking at would be. Where is it? You know what? After that performance, I would almost take a look at Besiktas here at the plus 175 at home against Fiorentina. Fiorentina's not a great team. And they travel to Turkey for this game, so it's not like they're Like, they're not going to just come. They're not one of those teams that's going to come in and roll over Başakşehir. They're not that outmatched. And I think they could probably win this with some good defense, fluke goal.
Yeah. Definitely worth taking it home at plus 175. And once again, I'm not, I don't bet a lot on games. Sometimes, I'll just throw $20 on a plus 175. And if I make, $40, I got dinner that night or something like that. But, I'm not, there's games I definitely feel stronger about. So I'll throw more money on, but sometimes I'm not betting a lot. So, when you see some of these games and I say, take a shot on it or something like that. Fiorentina result last week in Europe was a disgrace. I forget what happened.
Yeah, what did they even do? Like, oh my God. Now I gotta look up the Europa League here. Let's see. Oh, they lost. No, they tied 1-1 to RFS.
Something happened. I remember Foxy talking about how dodgy it was. What happened here?
Yeah. I don't know. They scored. I see there was a late goal. I don't see any VAR in the feed, but it's probably just a game in Italy, bad reffing. Like, what a shock. Doesn't surprise me one bit.
I remember Foxy talking about it last week. I forget. I remember something happened. But yeah, these games today, the early games. I like playing. United plays the early game tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm at a taping tomorrow in time, but I do like the early games because you can kind of just go about the stuff. The Champions League, like today, by 2:45, your team's done, so like you can kind of watch the other games and relax. But if they win, of course. But like, the two early games are interesting. I think, and there is look at as a fan of the game. There's these games are interesting today. Chelsea. I'm very intrigued to see what they do. I just don't have any confidence betting them. So
it's like if you do have the balls to play our rip your hair out, puddle of sweat parlay of the day, you're getting a full 4 hours of sweat, not just you got the early game with AC Milan at 12:45, and you get to sweat it out again at 3:00 with Chelsea. So I don't think it's just all at once. This is a nice, good 4 hours sweat. You could lose 10 pounds with this parlay.
You ain't kidding.
That means two things.
And the bad thing is, like, you can't even cash out early because if AC Milan squeaks through somehow with like a 98th minute goal, then you got to go through it again. You can't even cash that out. Like sometimes if you bet the two games at the same time, at least you could cash out or something like that. But here you can't. You got to sit and wait. So you gotta suffer. It could be both games could be 5-0 too. So we'll see.
Look, I think they'll both win, but I don't have a good play on it because both teams could win by 1 goal. But this is a must-win spot. I said that about Liverpool yesterday. They came out, got it done by 1 goal, barely. They got it done.
Yeah, but they needed to. They were probably. They were 5 minutes from basically having their season be
firing clock
upside down. I mean, that's the kind of game that could turn the whole season. But
5 minutes from firing Klopp right there.
I wish we would have not bought all the players, so Ajax could have won. We should have loaned them back just for this game, so they could have got a result. But yeah,
that was bad. Like when Liverpool scored early, I was like, okay, is my under going to be in jeopardy here? Did they come to play? And then all of a sudden, I see Ajax tie it before half, and I was like, oh, Liverpool's doing Liverpool once again.
Yeah, I know. It was so close.
And even in Newcastle, man, they scored in the 98th minute in that game. Like, even in their wins, they've been getting some help.
I know. It's just like
Their only real win was 9-0 against Bournemouth, which isn't that impressive because I think me and you could go out there and beat Bournemouth 2-0, 3-0.
Yeah, exactly. And they got the guy fired because they lost 9-0 to a team that stinks. The team's they couldn't even score goals in these games, and then they scored 9 against Bournemouth, and Scotty Parker got fired for it. So
yeah, and they had gotten destroyed like 5-0 and 4-0 right before that too. Like they were outscored like in 3 games, something like 18-0.
Yeah, it's brutal. All right, so that's basically the show today. Hopefully we're gonna play. Hopefully our picks do better than yesterday, and then your picks tomorrow as well. And then Friday there will be some games. There will be some games postponed in the Premier League, but there will be some games Friday. There's 2 Friday, 3 Saturday, and 2 Sunday, I think. So they spread them out.
No, they're pulling an MLS on us with half the league goes today, and then the other half will go next week.
Yeah, exactly. It's brutal, man, with this thing. And then the international break, and there's nothing for like 2 weeks. So that would be brutal.
And then they come back just to play maybe three games, and then let's go back to the World Cup right after that.
Exactly.
That's why it bothers me having an international break right now.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
You can get no rhythm. Where are you getting the rhythm? I guess maybe for the World Cup, these guys will get in a rhythm now, but then they got to go play with other guys for 3-4 weeks and then come back again. So if you're going to do that, make the international break like 2 weeks before the World Cup. And then everybody, at least they're in form when they get to the World Cup. I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't focus on the Nations League games as much or whatever, but I don't know. It's a messed up year.
It is. All right. So that's the show for today. And we're 2 comments. Didn't Austin lose the past few?
Yeah, they're not a bet on team anymore.
Ecuador could be thrown out of the World Cup. What is this? Is this like?
What did Ecuador do? Do I have to find a new beer now?
I don't think
I'm doing this challenge for the World Cup. I'm buying a beer from every country, and then I'm gonna drink the beer as the country's eliminated.
Oh no! Yeah, now they're saying they could. Now this guy was. They've already gone through this. Like I don't understand. Like they've already said he's in, but now they're saying he was born in Colombia. I don't know. Why didn't they present this evidence before? Yeah, it's crazy. It's getting a really being Colombian, not Ecuadorian. It's crazy. Austin hasn't played well, but Bill, I'm going to probably back them today because I do. I think they have a chance here. LAFC losing or drawing. All right, so we will see you. No show tomorrow. We will see you Friday at 11 a.m. and we'll discuss all things for the weekend. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you Friday.